Hello. I haven't been so great this weekend. I've been really tired. And my digestive system's been acting up, but I don't want to talk about my health today. I want to talk about anything else, just not that. So, this is a D20. You use this for Dungeons and Dragons, and once upon a time with some friends, it never came out. There do exist some episodes, but I was a dungeon master for a Dungeons and Dragons podcast, and I'd written a whole scenario, a whole world, the people that I chose to play were not really D&D players at all. I wanted it to be something fresh. I wanted it to be, I don't know what D&D podcast to compare it to, because it wouldn't have been like any of them. It wouldn't have been like Nerd Poker or like The Adventure Zone. It wouldn't have been Dungeons and Randomness, although that's my favorite. Probably closest to Dungeons and Randomness, everything being homebrewed. Dungeons and Daddies, because I'm not funny. I don't feel like I'm funny, at least not consistently. So I just wanted, the plan was I had some of my friends, and we were going to be traveling in this world where everything was very tightly controlled, to the point where people stayed on specific roads and they could only travel and be in certain places, and everything else was like an outland, and it was scary, and the government, like, there's propaganda never to go. And I was going to integrate, like, around that time, it was a little long. It was about a year or two after David Bowie died, but his last album was called Black Star. And I wanted to integrate some stuff from that into it, especially the song Black Star. I know it sounds weird, but it was a whole thing. I had so much lore, and I had things like orcs were good guys. They were actually family oriented. They were the people that you would go to for help. They weren't a warlike race at all. They were very gentle, kind, friendly people. People like Drow were like underground, but they were like workers. And people that were generally good, that you would think of as good races, were not. Like dwarves were not good guys, although they could go either way. Tieflings were, accepted, perfect members of society. They weren't ostracized for being half demon. Demons were not considered evil in my D&D, and demons are not the same thing in D&D. There's just 2 or 3 episodes, raw episodes, uncut, untouched, that I probably have in my Google Drive, and they'll never be released. We didn't know what we were doing. I railroaded them too much, which means that I pushed the story along kind of on a rail. I wanted to get to the story. I tried not to. I tried to trim my excesses, but I was running a podcast, and I didn't really know how to do anything, even being a dungeon master. And plus it was a little bit like herding cats. These were people that didn't know much about D&D, and people like Heather, she was game to try, and our mutual friend Austin, who I think has done some stuff since. They're both radio people. They have radio shows on opposite coasts and a podcast together. So they would have been my pros, but then, I had people that were not exactly pros that I wanted also, and people just dropped out. They got in fights, and I lost my zest for it. But maybe someday. I still have it up here, if not written down anymore. I had composition books with all of this stuff, and since then I've torn out all the D&D stuff and used them for my studies, for work, for learning Microsoft Azure and my Security Plus. In fact, I can show you one right here. I use this all the time. This was for a character I wrote called Fairfax O'Reilly, and it just became my Security Plus notes. So when I have to renew my Security Plus, I think next year, I have all the notes here, all of it. That's a complete Security Plus course right there. And, the rest are over there, but so all of that's gone, at least in terms of written work, and it would change with time. Anyway, I'm not sure how much I would integrate David Bowie at this point, or Bowie, depending on where you're from. And I definitely wouldn't railroad, so I wouldn't write so much ahead of time. It was so much. I wrote centuries of lore. So lame for something that we had no evidence that it would even get off the ground, and it didn't. But it was fun. It was a fun thing to do, and I've started writing plays. I've mentioned it before, and I've started writing plays, and I'm writing them sort of out of order. I'm writing them at my own pace. I've also got a novel idea, which I've never successfully written a novel. I did one for NaNoWriMo 1 year. I successfully finished it, but it was trash. As NaNoWriMo novels are, they're not about creating great art. They're about just sitting down and writing every day. Yeah. So someday I'll be a dungeon master again. Maybe I'll play something like Cthulhu, though. Call of Cthulhu, maybe. I like a horror RPG, and then I'd be a games master, I suppose. I often carry this with me everywhere, but sometimes when I need to make a quick decision, I'll roll it, and if it's above 10, then it's a yes, and it's below 10, then it's a no. And if it's a 20, it's an emphatic yes, and if it's a 1, it's an emphatic no. So I'm not like Two-Face from Batman or anything. I don't make real decisions based on this, but it's just a little tool to help. I also have a penny in a necklace that my friend Heather made for me. I have a guitar pick. I haven't played guitar in a long time. Back there I have a Baby Taylor, which would be the guitar that I'd play. I have a Squier in red, a cherry. It might just be a Squier, but it's still a Strat. Got a couple basses, a couple no-name guitars, a couple Marshall amps, all in that corner where, right, no, that's the comic, so it's in that corner, all over there. My guitars and my basses. And I haven't played them in a while. I would probably, if I were going to pick one up these days, I'd pick up the bass. I wish I had an acoustic bass. Not a stand-up bass, but just like a big old acoustic bass. But where in the world would I keep such a large thing? And now my body being so much smaller, it'd be like a little kid. I guess you can get smaller ones, but you still need to get that sound. And what else do I carry with me for my lucky? I think these are it. But this always, even for years, always this one. I mean, I've got dice sets everywhere around here, and like I said, I've got a pewter set. I don't know if I said it in this one. I've recorded this video several times today. I got a pewter set that my friend bought me, which I was going to use for the podcast, but this is my lucky D20. And I almost always have it in my pocket with me. So, alright. I've babbled enough. I'm feeling a little out of it today. Been very tired. Been very up and down, awake, asleep a lot this weekend. And this coming week is going to be just as busy. And I've got my PCP on Thursday. And then next week I have to go back to UCLA. And then I don't have anything until June. Between then and now, of course, I'll probably hear from UCLA about whether or not I'm on the list. I'll probably have to get blood drawn. And I'm sure my PCP will want me to go back before June. I don't know, maybe. Not a lot he can really do for me. I guess that's my time. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you later.